You're misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are part of a giant studio set all over the stage.
Jesus Christ, and suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Don't suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
But man's getting rude. Man's getting rude.
You tell me I didn't say one.
It could be a what's it? It could be an onion ring.
A hairless monkey jumping through the vacuum or a potato rock.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, we would be, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
Can't have a can't have a flat earth and things making sense.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Gem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. We're back once again with our almost weekly roundup of news and views from across the imaginary plane. I am your judge and executioner, Gem, and on the jury this evening are 12 good men and true, except there's only about 5 of them. It's the usual suspects: Cat Earth, Curved, Kosho, I think, maybe, Quarters possibly later on, Scott maybe in a bit, Lewis, and the amazing Spurs Kimo. Good evening, gentlemen.
Big up Spurs. Oh, Scott's here.
Is Scott here? Yay, Scott's here.
You're old news now, Spurs.
They're arriving as we speak.
Good afternoon, all.
Good evening, Kimo. You've been all over my telly this week. Tell us about it.
Oh, what's happened? What have you heard? What have you heard?
You're just on everything. You know, every time I put YouTube on, you're on a debate.
Well, I do try, because for me, you know, it's very clear that the Earth is not a globe. Now, you know, I was speaking with flat earthers today, and I think the idea of saying that the Earth is flat invokes a lot of questions, you know, models and shapes, country sizes and distances, and all of those things. So I think the safest thing to do is to deny the globe, refute the globe, and just debunk the globe.
All right.
Well, you've certainly been trying to do that. Anyway, later in the show, we will be bringing you a veritable identity parade of Flat Earth criminality. But first, there's big news from the Flat Earth International Conference. Check this out. Robbie Davidson recently announced that stand-up comedian and noob flatty Owen Benjamin will be performing at this year's Flat Earth International Conference in Dallas. The Dallas Observer reported on this. Here's an excerpt. The guest roster and schedule for the November conference have to be seen to be believed. Some of the guest speakers include the conference's founder, Robbie Davidson, who showed his IQ when he got fooled for a prank comedy documentary by Logan Paul, the YouTuber who didn't possess enough intelligence to know that filming a dead human body while giggling and wearing a stupid hat isn't a great idea. Other guests include a musician named Alex O, the Flat Earth Man, who's a mix of Toby Keith, Johnny Cash, and severe mental strain, and alt-right comedian Owen Benjamin, who's best known for posting anti-Semitic and racist rants on YouTube and for questioning the authenticity of the moon landings and the Earth's roundness, while sometimes playing a piano. Free-thinking, free speech and anti-censorship advocate Robbie Davidson responded with a Facebook poll. Should I ban the Dallas Observer from having media access to the conference or not? 47% said yes and 53% said no. And in the comments to this post, Michelle Bovenkamp suggests that Robbie should ask Owen Benjamin about banning. Robbie does this and the decision is made. So, Owen Benjamin at the Flat Earth Conference. What do you reckon?
First of all, shout out Owen Benjamin in chat.
Saw that. Yes, hello to you, Owen. It's lovely to have you with us. Anyone else? Any
Well,
thoughts? on
it's
this?
quiet. It's quiet. Well, I think he's a bit of an. Unless I can't hear anyone, tell me if I'm talking over
No,
people.
you're fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's like, if you've ever watched any of his content, he's slowly, well, not that slowly, losing his mind like big time. Like what you're saying, the anti-Semitic tweets. So I don't think it's that far fetched. He's completely, and the thing is, he's got so many followers that just like praise whatever he does.
Right.
That it's scary because he just thinks these things, and everyone's like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think it's sort of snowballing him a bit.
I mean, are you familiar with his work? Is anyone familiar with him? I mean, I've only seen him ranting about flat Earth, but he claims not to be anti-Semitic, I believe.
Oh.
Well, Lewis is the expert on this.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, you're the right-wing fascist amongst us, Lewis.
Right. Of course. I just don't find the guy that interesting. I know that he's done stand-up comedy and he's had some sort of small-time success. But I feel like this is a step down. Like, his career has slowly just been taking steps down ever since he came to the internet.
Right.
I
think.
I don't
he
think this is going to be
I
good.
think he produces a comedy show, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I checked his IMDb once. I've got very brief, very sort of faint memories of it. Scott Veach, any ideas? You're the entertainment guru here.
I think they're friends, so he's keeping quiet.
What do you think,
No.
Spurs?
Maybe.
Is this a good person to associate with Flat Earth? Someone with, well, whether or not they are extreme or fairly extreme right-wing views, he's definitely associated with that point of view. So, is that a good thing for flatties or not?
Time will tell. Time will tell.
I don't know. I mean, listening to the guy, my impression of him is, I mean, I've never really heard him. He hasn't really said anything that's made me laugh. A couple of things where I've sort of half chuckled. But, mostly I've heard him talking about flat Earth, and really, he's just the same. Forgive me for saying this, Chemo, but the same arrogant, entitled, flat Earth noob that I hear all the time. This doesn't make sense to me, and it should, and I shouldn't have to study for it to make sense. It should just make sense.
I wish I remember, because I watched a documentary about him, like about his fall off and sort of like just about him in general. It was only a short, like a 20-minute thing on YouTube.
Right.
And he'd basically he'd made a few bad decisions in his career, and he's just quite angry. I think he had a split. I can't really remember it, so but I wish I could now. But yeah, it just seems like he's typical angry at the world, smoking too much weed, watching too much YouTube.
That's it. You kind of, I don't know. You want your comedy to sort of, I don't know, to sort of lift you every now and then, even if it's edgy. Do you know what I mean? You want there to be some bits that aren't sort of just politically challenging. I do anyway.
I think it's worrying as well, because there's just such a huge following of people who are happy, or I'm not having a go at them. I'm just saying that they do get entertainment out of this. They've sort of gone on the mental trip he's on.
Right.
They're sort of all spiraling down together in a way. Yeah. And I think it's interesting that you do get these kind of cults now online that are self-brainwashing. And they're not necessarily, you can call them a cult leader by the definition, but they're in. I think there needs to be a new sort of definition for these kind of things. People who make these online movements, and I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't. Yeah. It's like they're not thinking. They're just completely attracted by the personality of the person. They're not using any brain.
Yeah.
You see it all through the flat Earth.
I think I experienced a little bit of this myself when I first sort of got onto YouTube, and there were a few people who I followed and who I guess revered to some extent, and then I don't know. Then they start, they were an atheist, and then suddenly they started spouting a load of right-wing crap, or you know, a load of sort of anti-feminist stuff that are just, it either doesn't interest me, or it's a view that I, you know, it is opposing to my own, you know. And you know, you sort of come across people and they say something that you agree with, and you kind of assume that, you know,
they agree with everything.
They're
else.
just your soulmate, and they, you know, they agree with everything that you think, and then of course you find out that actually that's not true at all, you know.
Scott's back. Can we hear him now? There we go.
Validation. Welcome back, Scott. Good to hear you.
This is way late now, but I had a wonderful quip, I thought, when you said that Owen Benjamin says that he's not anti-Semitic, which is like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But this is true. This is a true statement. Is the surest way to identify an anti-Semite in the room is to find the guy who's saying, I'm not anti-Semitic. The normal people don't ever have cause to say the phrase, I'm not.
Right.
Only the people that actually are that have to say that. And they always do.
Yeah, I think he presents it that he's sort of, he's testing these taboos sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
I think that's his kind of angle.
What does he actually say that? I mean, I haven't really seen anything that he said towards. I mean, what is it that he said that he's supposed to be anti-Semitic?
I think he said something about burn the Jews, I think was the phrase he used.
Oh my
like
God.
I'm not.
But that's fairly anti-Semitic.
The entire Senate was, I'm not anti-Semitic, but I'd like to see.
Well, I mean, I know he's had to sort of finance his own shows.
Juicy comments in the past.
Sorry, Kat, I was talking over you there. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'm lagging a bit. I was just saying Spurs has had a few juicy comments in the past. He might. What do you reckon about people who've made comments in the past?
Below the belt.
So no, I'm not. I don't mind. I've never said anything bad about it. I'm just saying that some people. I think that's the dangerous thing about the internet, is being picked up on everything you've ever said.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all there, isn't it? Yeah.
I think time will tell, Kat. Time will tell.
Time will tell. 6 years later.
I once, in a hangout once, probably 4 years ago, I once told the story of when, at 7 years old, we went to New Zealand. And, I'm sitting on this plane at 30,000 feet. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I've been flying for, 2 days, and I'm there. And my dad looks out of the window and he says, "Look, son, you can see the curve of the Earth there." And I can specifically remember looking and thinking, I don't see any curve at all. It looks completely flat to me. And I told this story in a hangout, and I've seen it quoted many times in various chats. Jem said this about the plane, and now he's saying this. Anyway, shall we move on? I think we've sucked the life out of that one, haven't we? So, anyway, staying with Flat Earth conferences, you may remember that there was one in New Zealand a few weeks ago. And from that event, with the help of a channel called TheTTguy, we bring you some leaked footage.
Flat Earth education possibly being an option in the mix of education and not seen as a threat to the mainstream curriculum. We want to send a letter to the Ministry of Education outlining our concern and request for science curriculum review. Open up a Flat Earth cafe is one of my visions. And like a museum where we can collect Flat Earth products that are still existing, so we can preserve the heritage pieces that are still here and display and exhibit other Flat Earth products, because you're going to be getting newsletters and you're all going to get a DVD. It's going to be an edited DVD. It didn't go live on YouTube, but we are going to have an edited, like a bit of a film about it on YouTube in 2 or 3 weeks' time. Mark and I are going to be working on that.
The Mark she's talking about here is Mark. I got an email from Mark after he finished doing the editing of the footage, and so he sent me preview of the footage. It's interesting from this email I learnt that Mark is getting out of Flat Earth to pursue his law studies. Good luck with that, Mark. A Flat Earther doing law. Yep, not too sure you're going to get too far through a law degree. Mark and Adrian here seem to have had a bit of a falling out. I love it when they eat each other, these morons, because Adrian sent a follow-up email saying, "Oh my God, Mark has done the dirty on me and sent out videos that I own the copyright on," and so yeah, trouble in New Zealand Flat Earth paradise.
We had a small meeting last year in May where about 30 or 40 people came. Some of them are here today, and just thought we need to do something really big to grab some attention. There's a lot of talk about people making money out of Flat Earth. Well, they're not going to talk about that with us because we're a non-profit organisation. And please have a look at the Flat Earth products over there. We've got stickers, t-shirts, we've got some logo long-sleeved shirts. And if we sell all those today, you can order them. Or if your size is not there, you can order. I'm going to be making another order in 1 or 2 weeks for the Flat Earth logo shirts. If you don't have a plan and purpose for your life, then join the Flat Earth Army of Truth.
So yes, on the bright side, this Flat Earth letter is going to be laughed out of the education department. They're going to have a good old giggle about it. It's not going to go anywhere. Also in good news, they couldn't actually find any New Zealanders to be stupid enough to actually talk at the Flat Earth conference. They could only find American morons, so that's a positive. And it looks like out of all of New Zealand, they could only find 40 morons to show up at this event. So I guess in the scheme of things, New Zealand is okay. But I'd just like to say, as an Australian, when we had a Flat Earth conference in Australia, only 2 people showed up. Actually 3 people. One was the organiser, one was a journalist, and one was some other random dude. So, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Bye.
That was the TTguy. If you want to check out his channel, the link is in the description. Sorry if this is a bit uncomfortable for you, Spurs. I didn't know you were going to be with us. I'd have chosen politer clips if I had.
It's fine. I'm sure we can find a positive out of your negatives. Yeah?
Good on you, Kimo. So, what do you reckon? Flat Earth Conference. There wasn't a lot of people there, was there? But then New Zealand doesn't have a lot of people in it.
Well, it was so New Zealand. That's what I liked about it. When she's like, there's stickers to buy.
Yeah.
And you can T-shirt. You might not have your size, but we can order you one.
I should have actually warned people who don't speak New Zealand version of English that they only have one vowel, and it's E. E. Every word has E in the middle.
It's like the most boring place on earth, but it's awesome.
I mean, Australia,
it's really not. It's I've lived in New Zealand, and it is absolutely. It's like paradise. Trust me, it is.
Well, no, yeah.
It is the most beautiful country you could possibly. It is amazing.
Oh, it's gonna be like paradise whenever she gets that Flat Earth cafe off the ground. That will make it paradise.
Oh my God.
And well, I like the idea of the museum to preserve the heritage pieces.
Oh yeah, the heritage.
So much heritage.
I wonder what they. But if you think about it, let's hop into Spursland for a moment, and let's conceive of the idea that the Flat Earth is a real thing, that is to be revealed at some point in the future. Then all of this stuff that these guys have produced, all the memes and all of that, well, they would be heritage pieces, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They would be, significant and important. So I can kind of see where she's coming from if we hop into her worldview. But if you don't, it just sounds silly.
Yeah, well, in this worldview, Spurs Chemo is a household name in 400 years from now.
Yes.
Yeah.
The founding one of the founding fathers.
The
of
only
flat
problem
Earth.
is though it would be kind of like Shakespeare, you know, where his name was spelt like 12 different ways. It's like everyone would say he would be called like real sort of biblical scholars or flat Earth scholars would know that his name was Spurs Chemo, but you know, people generally would make the mistake of calling him Spurs Kismo or something like that.
Spunk cleaner or something.
And the way the accusations fly about so and so and so and so and so and so, scholars would just tear their hair out, going, I think that Pete Shea, this man Pete Shea, says that Chemo and Scott are the same person, and I think that must be true, but we can't find the evidence.
Yeah. Oh, it would be awesome. Why? I don't know why it is. Does it bother you, Chemo, that Fight the Flat Earth is totally incapable of saying Spurs Chemo? I don't know. He just can't do it, can he?
I find it endearing. I mean, Brenda does it. Reg used to do it. Team Skeptic, he did it originally. People do find between the K and the S a little bit confusing.
Well, I'm just glad that Qantas isn't here to hear you say that.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same. Thank God Qantas can't hear this. Are you with us, Quartus?
He dropped again.
Oh, did he drop again? Bummer.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at the YouTube. Oh, yeah, I just saw him drop off the YouTube. I'm still watching the YouTube, which is a few seconds behind.
He's back.
Hello?
No,
oh my God.
There he is.
What are we
here?
Oh, hi. How are you?
I have never had this many people problems.
No, normally you don't have any trouble.
Sorry.
I'm officially a gamer. Like everything didn't work. Like incredible. But I'm back.
You're up and down like a horse knickers, Quartus.
Oh, jeez. Worse.
So, Chemo, what are we going to do about the complete lack of progress there? All that time ago, they had 40 people, and then they did this event, and they had 40 people.
Yeah, I mean, Australia is a curious place.
It was New Zealand, by the way.
New Zealand, Australia, that region is a curious area. It's difficult to explain why they're not, grasping onto this. It's curious, yeah.
Do you think it might be because they have a southern celestial pole above their head?
I mean, I don't know. I think it could be the character. I think it could be, the Australian way. I think they're looking at countries like England and America to see which way, the balance is tipped before they make a decision. But there are flat earthers.
What are you on about?
There are flat earthers in Australia and New Zealand. There are a number, and it's growing. You see?
I tell you what I think might be a factor is, when I lived in New Zealand, like there were two. They just got their second TV channel, and it's a really outdoorsy sort of country. People just spend all of their time outdoors. So, and I think generally speaking, internet is quite expensive, relatively speaking, in New Zealand. So, I imagine there's a lot of people. New Zealand has the highest percentage of boat owners, per capita, than any other country in the world. So. People probably spend a bit less time on the internet and are less likely to fall into internet rabbit holes, I think.
As well, though, I mean, I was speaking with Mal, and, he says that, it's drummed into them that they're at the bottom of the ball and, there are people at the top of the ball. So, again, I don't know if this is the indoctrination where this idea of being at the bottom and they're at the top is, something that they want to hold on to. So...
Oh, nice one. Hold on to it. I like that.
No one ever mentioned that to me when I was... I tell you what, the people who did say stuff like that to me when I went to New Zealand it was people in England before I went. It was adults, older adults going, you're going to be upside down then, you are, aren't you? Will you be able to hold on? And it was adults making little cracks like that. But No one in New Zealand ever said anything like that, you know. Because I guess it would be, kind of absurd.
Just picturing classrooms full of Australian children with a globe at the front of the teacher just saying, "You are on the bottom right here."
Right. Yes. You're right at the bottom, and you can't get up from it either. Your only way is to go and be a barman in London.
But I think the most important thing is that awareness. So they've been over there. They've made grounds, made awareness. It's down to the Australian people, to be active. So that's how it grows. With activism, things like that. It's not just YouTube. If you look at people like Dad and other YouTube channels, they actually go out there and speak to the people beforehand. You see?
No, I don't see.
Well, we don't see that in Australia. Yeah, exactly. We don't see in Australia.
We don't see it anywhere. I mean, it's not growing, is it? It's shrinking.
Well, we have activism in America. We have activism in England. We would have activism.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
Grow. Like it's just nothing's growing. It's shrinking.
More people didn't come to the Flat Earth Conference in America either.
Well, today, Speaker's Corner, they had crowds, huge crowds.
Yeah, but there's always people at Speaker's Corner. It's not just Flat Earth. It's just they'll just go around because they're bored of arguing about Allah or whatever.
Don't worry, Spurs. I've got a couple of Flat Earth wins coming up for you tonight. So it's not all bad news.
Okay.
Okay, well, speaking of which, if no one else has got anything more on that.
Well, what about Cock of God? What's the Cock of God got to say
is
about
Kosho with us?
Everything.
Sorry, Kosho. I'm not actually paying attention to the Hangout too much because I'm paying attention to other shit. Speak, Kosh.
Sorry about that.
Hooray!
Well,
yeah, I'll be able to jump on in about 2 minutes. I'll watch this clip with you and I'll jump in.
Okay, all right. 32 minutes in, and we're all here.
Okay.
All right, I tell you what, before I do anything else, let me just make sure that I've got everything ready to go, so I don't look silly and miss the beginning of it. Right. Okay, we're ready to go. I need a producer. If anyone would like to produce my show, please volunteer. Right, in our last show we reported on a flat earther who won a court challenge. This story has developed a little. Despite trying for days to get the court transcript, we haven't actually got the magistrate court to answer the phone yet. However, the lack of any real information on this hasn't stopped the flatties. Have a listen now to our favourite group of arrogant morons as they discuss the court case and its implications.
Is everybody aware of Zen Garcia's legal case that he's had come through the news in the last 24 hours?
Flat Earth wins! Woo!
Yeah, I posted it on the Master B. I posted it, so I don't know if they saw it.
Yeah, there was a Bedford level-esque challenge that Zen Garcia put up. Now, I might butcher this, so forgive me if I get this wrong, but you can all look it up. It's really interesting. Apparently, Zen Garcia put up a $15,000 reward for anybody that could demonstrate measurable curvature using 2 independent techniques. Whatever they were doesn't matter, but as long as you could demonstrate it with 2 independent techniques, you could get you 15 grand. Some guy claimed the 15 grand, and it went to court because Zen Garcia said, you haven't got that, you're not proving curvature. There's
Hello.
Don't know the ins and outs of it. I just know there's something wrong. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it in the next couple of hours. But anyway, point is, Zen Garcia won. The guy failed to prove curvature in the same way that Slice Barkane failed to prove curvature with his water test that he was trying to do. So if you haven't checked it out, check out Zen Garcia's legal battle thing. It's really interesting.
You're saying that the ruling went in favour of Flat Earth?
It went in favour of Flat Earth because the ball earther that claimed curvature failed to demonstrate proof that the Earth was measurably curved.
And this is in a court of law.
Wow, so curvature lost in court, huh? That's interesting.
Yeah, curvature lost in court, yeah.
Yeah, there is no curvature. That's why Earth curve lost, because there wasn't any to measure. Fact, no curve was proven.
Have you read the opinion?
Well, no, fact, no curve was proven.
It was a decision.
No curve was proven. That's what was legally adjudicated.
No, is that why, or was there some legalistic reason why? Like maybe it wasn't
the claim
really a
was that
bet.
he measured curvature, and when the judge was asked to determine whether or not the claim of measuring curvature was actually true, the judge said, "No, there's no curvature. You haven't proven that there is measurable curvature." So Zen Garcia won. In other words, Baller has failed to prove curve.
But yes, excellent day for Flat Earth. Terrible day for anybody who claims there's measurable curvature. This guy thought he'd measured it, went to court and lost.
If he had a curvature,
necessarily.
he probably would have won, right?
No, Brenda's right. Brenda's right. All it proves is that this instance where a chap claimed to have measured curvature to the point where he was prepared to fight in court to demonstrate that he'd measured curvature was proven that he had not measured curvature. That's what it proves.
So this is obviously the ticket that you get at the end. You know, what's the judgment? So this is from the judgment. This is, I think it's William Thompson versus Zen Garcia. Then Zen Garcia is obviously the defendant. It is ordered that the judgment is entered in favour of the defendant, i.e. the Flat Earther. And scroll down, we can see that it's stamped. You can find out the date, which was yesterday. And this court case, I'm sure, will make international headlines at some point.
There's more to this. It's going to come out more in the next few days, but it's not very good if you guys can't demonstrate to a standard which is like the legal standard that we are actually living on a curved surface. Because it's all right arguing that we do on YouTube, but when you guys claim that we should go and write an article and submit it to Nature, that's not the standard. The standard is to get it decided in a court of law, which is what my position's been from day one, because they do decide the matters of fact.
Law is not a standard.
Yeah, it is. It's the only standard, and science is subject to it.
What's been adjudicated is a claim by a gentleman that you can measure curvature. He's claimed to have measured it. It's been adjudicated by a judge who judged that no curve was measured.
Anyway, he asked the question on his Hangout last night, why is it that Flat Earth hasn't progressed? And I'm like, that actually is a really good question. I think that the answer for it is because nobody's been taken to challenge on the nonsense that they speak. So I was speaking to Rumpus last night, and I said to Rumpus, I said, listen, I said, Bedford Levels experiment caused a big fight between Wallace and Hampton. Regardless of who did what and who said what and who ended up in jail, I said, forget about all the argy-bargy. I said, would you be interested in like a gentlemanly 50 quid, not bet, but like enough money for it to be significant for the court's purposes, but not enough money for it to really be the focal point, because I don't want the focal point to be about the money. I said, but we need to have a money amount so that we can get this thing like challenged in court, basically to see whether or not you could prove any of the housekeeping points, and you can pick one. I said, would you be interested? And he was like, let me think about it. And I said, great. I said, I'd quite like you to try and prove gravity if you wouldn't mind. If you don't want to do gravity, pick like rotation or whatever. I said, but let's put 50 quid on it where neither of us pay each other, but we have the deal where it's 50 quid to the one that either proves or fails to prove the case. I said, and let's see if you can prove in a court of law that the points that you preach are true. And he's like, and I said, but there's one condition. And he said, what's that? I said that if we agree to do this, the one that loses doesn't dilute the importance of the court case afterwards by saying that's just one court in one part of the world with one judge, blah, blah, blah. We accept the verdict of the court. And he was like, let me think about it. But what I'm thinking is, let's just say for argument's sake, the Rumpus agrees. I think we should challenge Ballers on the 6 housekeeping points that we ask. See if any of them could be demonstrated in court, because if we can get 6 cases in court at 50 quid a pop, basically it's 30 quid to issue the fee or 35 quid to issue the legal fees. And we get Ball Earthers to make the case that they can prove axial rotation, for example. We just point out that this is pseudoscience, it doesn't comply with scientific method, and state the reasons for why, and then say to the judge, that's not proving the case. Let the judge make the decisions on the 5 or 6 cases. And then to answer the question, how has Flat Earth moved on or not moved on, or why is it not moved on? Well, if we've then got 6 precedents that we can rely on, and like Rumpus would be one of them for gravity or whatever, again, it would add to the evidence that Greater Sapien failed to prove that he could fly around the globe. Sly Sparkane failed to prove curvature. And now this most recent one with Zen Garcia, he successfully showed that they could not prove measured curvature. So if we were to do the 6 housekeeping points based on 50 quid a pop, get 6 cases going on. I think that we could have 6 cases going through the legal system to not set precedent, but to at least give us some more sway that these guys cannot prove their claims to be true in a court. Because if we did have 6 cases that said that they couldn't prove their case in a court, then that's really, really damning against the ballers, and we could then use that as real decided cases in all arguments from there on. We would set the precedent that they would have to trump. It would raise the standard, and it would only cost us 50 quid. Well, 35 quid each court case. Let the ballers make their case to the judge. We counter it with our defence and say this is not proving the point. Give the reasons for why. Let the judge decide. And then, worst case scenario, there won't be any costs because we can all do it ourselves. There wouldn't be any lawyers. There would just be our arguments against their arguments. Gets the decision, and then the judge binds everybody. And then basically, you'd have to go further than that to prove that, to go beyond the judges. I just think that we should get a couple of low-key ones in first and get like a couple of light jabs in first just to see what happens. And then once we get them, say we did get 5 through that were based on just 50 quid, it doesn't matter about the 50 quid, it's just about the principle or the point that was then demonstrated to either be successfully shown in court or unsuccessfully shown in court. If we had like 4 or 5 cases under our belts, then we could make like bigger fish. We could attack bigger fish then, and I think that would be a good way to create the high-profile one a bit further down the line.
It was absolutely appalling.
He's so insane.
We need to find that meme and pull it up. The one where
we
say,
I know the one.
Yeah. Why can't I just use legislation to change Newton's laws?
Yeah. That is literally what he said. Science is subject to the law. He said it.
Astonishing.
It's so weird. It's ironic. It's purely ironic that flat earthers complain about there being brainwashing in schools and these things are forced down everyone's throats, but they want to literally write legal legislation about the nature of reality.
Right.
But you're missing the question, Lewis. The question was, why isn't flat Earth moving forward? In order to get flat Earth, if you want,
I wasn't commenting on a question, Chemo.
Yeah, but if you, Lewis, want to see flat Earth move forward, Lewis,
I don't.
I know. But if you want to see flat Earth move forward, then obviously going to court will move the flat Earth forward, right, Lewis? Right? You agree?
No, it won't.
What will it do?
All it will do is have a judge mediate between 2 parties, one being the plaintiff, one being the defendant. That has nothing to do with the truth of their disagreement.
So why do people go to court?
Because they have some sort of problem between the 2 of them.
Right, to settle contract disputes. And in the case of this Zen Garcia thing, it is, and by all evidence we have so far, it's simply a contract dispute. He put up a bet saying, do X. The fellow came back with something that wasn't in line with the bet. In other words, he didn't meet the conditions of the bet for whatever reason, and therefore it was found in favor of Zen Garcia.
I was going to ask, Quartus, do you know, because I was wondering, would a judge uphold a 15,000 bet against a mentally ill person? I don't think they would.
Oh, they might.
Yeah, they might. I don't know what to do with it. Like, your mental state doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you're contractually obliged to
right.
one or the other.
I think it does.
If you look at the evidence that the guy brought, like, he was just making a money grab. The evidence is ridiculous. It's not. He doesn't actually meet any of the criteria that Zen Garcia laid out. It's just ludicrous. And so he hoped that maybe he could win some money, I guess, or whatever. And he brought a frivolous lawsuit against Zen Garcia, and the judge rightly said he had not demonstrated any of the things he claimed to have, because he hadn't. He just has these videos with a bunch of ranting on them, and didn't give him the 15,000.
So what you're saying is there's 15,000 up for grabs right now, and
it does make me wonder, like, because I bet I could bring something with a judge.
Right, I mean,
right.
We should all chip in.
If born earthers keep losing in court, what will that say to the public?
Well, what will it say if we win, Spurs?
It'll say that the sort of people that engage in bets with flat earthers are rather stupid.
Yep.
Yes, I mean that was. I mean, obviously we've only got Riley's account of this conversation with Rumpus, but if anyone, I mean, Rumpus is a clever guy, so I don't really accept Riley's account. But if anyone is thinking of doing this, no, don't be silly.
Oh my God, Rumpus will absolutely do that. Rumpus will fall into every single trap they lay out, like he is oblivious. He's like Charlie Brown in football with Lucy. They'll be like, hey, okay, we're not going to pull it this time. We swear. And he'll go running up to it.
What does Rumpus have to think about? If the Earth is a globe, as you say, you should be able to walk into any court and just present globe evidence and walk out with a win.
That's not what courts are for, and it is not how science is decided.
Yep. They would have to create a contract, and then the court case would be disputing about whether or not the contract was fulfilled.
And if you actually check Zen Garcia's Facebook page where he's posted about this, even he, in his comments, where he's responding to comments, is saying, look, this isn't a judge deciding whether the Earth is flat or round. It's a judge deciding whether this guy met with the rules laid out in my competition, my challenge.
Exactly.
And that is what it is, I'm afraid, Chemo. Even so, I guess it's a propaganda win for you guys, at least for the time being.
Yeah. It's embarrassing that somebody that idiotic went and did that, because it's just like, it doesn't look good. But
right. Yeah, when you're engaged in this argument in the way that we are, it kind of reflects badly. I know Quartz is going to hate me for saying that. I agree.
It's like when Musk had that press conference and he said, I heard him say this live when he said, well, it's real because it looks so fake. And I just think I know what he's talking about, but I just thought, Musk, you are doing us no favors when you say
right.
Like,
why? Yeah.
Well, before we move on, can you just outline what a ball earther would do differently? What he would have done in place of the ball earther that lost?
Well, the Gauls that lost didn't do anything that actually related to the physical Earth. All he did was make 2 videos, and in the videos he just drew like sort of crude simulations. But the terms of the contest definitely said you have to demonstrate that the physical real world has a curve, not that it could, or not that you have to go out there and you have to show the physical curve.
Yeah,
and the guy didn't do any kind of physical work at all.
So what would you guys do differently to show or to win the case?
Look, probably start with
taking Sally's
theme.
video, should have just taken that.
Yeah, like what Sally does, or Rada's theme,
or
George's the observations that George did, something like that.
George's frozen lake measurement, where he measures curvature. Soundly, of course, did one recently, didn't he? Across Lake Pontchartrain with Jesse Kozlowski, where they did it using GPS.
Right.
So there's a number of examples. Oh, of course, Miles Davis observation, which shows curvature. We've got a number of quality ones, I feel, that are really irrefutable.
Anything that Ranty did?
What if the judge said...
but
what if the judge says this doesn't meet the criteria? You ball earthers lose.
No, it would.
Well, that would depend on what the contract said, and I don't think most of us here have even seen the contest and what the...
No, but Zen did say that it was a violation of the contest rules as such, and the judge would never say something like "you ball earthers."
Right.
He would say that the plaintiff has claimed X and the defendant has said Y, and these conditions weren't met, so off you go. That's how that works. It isn't you ball earthers haven't met the requirements. Like, none of that is going to happen in court.
I want to just very quickly thank Flashburn for the meme that came very quickly, as always. Flashburn is awesome. Right, so anyone else got anything on that?
Well,
please have some while I find the next clip.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I was just going to say that the very first thing I would do is to really read the fine line and what it was saying, like the fine print, and see what exactly was the demands. Because the Eric DeBay one, where that dude, it was like a $10,000, but the same thing. It was like 10 minutes of like fine details of what exactly it needed to have and not have. And so if you meet all those standards, or you talk to the person, whoever it is, beforehand, that would probably be what I would do first. I wouldn't even worry about doing the experiment. I would see if what you were doing was actually going to meet the criteria that they set forth.
Sure.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quickly because it seems like a number of flat earthers, including Riley, think that they're going to be able to set some sort of precedent in the court this way, and they're not, because there's no new law here at all. It's just the judge determining whether or not conditions were met. Like, there's nothing new.
I understand, the vision here. So there are implications here. If court cases are won where curvature has not been shown to a judge, then
Kimo, you're misunderstanding, because that's not the question.
Let him get it out anyway, Lewis.
That is flat out not what happened in this case.
Right. So the idea is for a globe Earth, a ball Earth, to show that the Earth is curving. So the implications of
that's the point of the contract.
The implications of all of that, if this continues to happen in court where curvature is not shown, then, like I say, institutions like NASA would be called into question about their images. Now, if there's no curvature, then what are these images? And this is, I think, the idea is to, obviously we're the little guy, we're the small guy. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to take NASA to court, right now. But the idea would be to take these institutions along the line, obviously, to court to say, well, what are you producing here? It doesn't match reality.
That wouldn't help you at all. That wouldn't help you at all, because if you were to go to court with NASA, you would be filing a claim against them saying that their images are fake, and the judge is going to say, okay, how do you know they're fake? And you're not going to have any evidence, and they're going to dismiss the case.
Well, I've just told you how. I've just said to you, if
all these other cases are not, that's not evidence to support your case that NASA's faking images. Because they're totally unrelated.
Right. Because all these would be a settling of a contract that is made when the challenge is made. It's, if you put out a challenge, you're effectively creating a contract, or at least when someone accepts that challenge, they're making a contract with you, and that's all it is. It's a bit of contract law. It's whether somebody's broken the contract or not, and obviously it's a very specific and individual contract, so it sets no precedent for anything.
Well, this is different. This is unique. This is a case within a case. So, like I say, the measurements are key to what NASA is showing us. So if we have a case where the measurements do not comport to the images, then if George is going to court showing that the Earth curves at this way,
that didn't happen, Kimo, because the guy didn't make any measurements, did he?
Oh, this is it. This is where it's leading to. This is the whole point. Is that the idea is that these court cases will be a case within a case for the bigger case, which is there is no curvature, no measurable curvature. Now we're being shown these images. You guys are thinking low, little bet court case. This will have to be a huge public, extravaganza where, people from all over the world have an interest in this. So like I say, if there's no curvature, then what are the pictures? What are we seeing from NASA if there was no curvature? That would be the question.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Spurs, can I ask a question? What do you think was going through the Freemasonic judge's head when he ruled with the flat earther? If it's all like a big conspiracy, you know what I mean? Why isn't that a bit weird? Don't you think? If there's a giant cover up.
I don't know if Gem's the show for to get into conspiracies and things like that.
I think maybe he's throwing the flat earthers a bone, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think we have time.
He's a secret flat Earth judge.
Anyway, shall we move on before we get too bogged down in this one? It's going to get a bit serious now, I'm afraid, because it's not time to adjourn yet, as there are more cases to hear. Hold on. Yeah, has anyone seen this guy? I've never seen him before, but see what you guys think. Fundamentalist Christian and self-proclaimed founder of the Biblical Flat Earth Society, Philip Stephen Stallings, was arrested this week and charged with 56 counts of child sexual exploitation, as reported by local news station WTDV. The 40-year-old Durham, North Carolina resident is facing dozens of charges for sexually exploiting minors for allegedly downloading media that involve minors engaged in sexual situations and sharing this illegal media on social platforms. He was arrested on Wednesday morning at his home by Durham County deputies as part of a U.S. Department of Homeland Security investigation, according to WRAL.com. Stallings faces 28 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor and 28 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor after being caught with child pornography. He has also been served with a warrant related to both cyber-stalking and financial card theft. His personal website, on which he refers to himself as a reformed Christian apologist, theonomist, keenist, and former seminary student, is largely dedicated to his belief that the earth is flat, which uses the Bible to support his opinion. His website also espouses that there is an Illuminati conspiracy to cover up the truth about the flat earth, which relates to ancient sun-worshipping cults. Stallings is an ebook author and has a YouTube channel where he covers topics such as feminism, transvestites, and women in the military. He has been taken to the Durham County Detention Centre. On Thursday, the judge raised his secured bond from $341,000 to $500,000.
Oh, bloody hell, Jam.
Hang on, I can't believe for a minute that a Christian was involved in some sort of scandal involving sex and minors.
Oh, man, come on.
Isn't there doctrine against that sort of thing?
Yeah,
Listen up, man.
Go ahead, Kat.
No, I'm just saying Christians are just everyone like everyone else, man. They're all, you know what I mean? They're not better than anyone
No, apparently there's several shades worse from what we see in the news on an ongoing basis.
I mean, we don't want to dwell too long on this one. The guy's obviously an arsehole. I just wanted to put it in there, really, because I'd never come across him, and I wondered if anyone else had, really.
I had not, but yeah. That's amazing. He's
I know
probably
there were
gonna
people. There are people in the Flat Earth Discord that were friends with him on Facebook and stuff like that. I
Right.
saw they all had a mass defriending, but definitely some people had heard of him. He's somehow connected to people.
Anyway, just thought I'd throw that one in there. Let's not stay on it too long. He's a tosser and he's in jail, which is the best place for him, I guess. So, yes. So, staying in the court, we're still not adjourning. There are more cases to hear, like this guy. A 34-year-old graffiti artist has been arrested for tagging buildings with support for a neo-Nazi group and flat earth research. Skylar Jean Butts has been the subject of a year-long investigation involving more than 30 incidents of graffiti spraying on federal land in Colorado. The latest tagging was on a Bureau of Land Management bathroom, and the damage was estimated at $5,000. Throughout the year-long investigation, Butts has spray-painted support for Flat Earth research and the Rise Above movement. The Rise Above movement is a militant alt-right group based in California that describes itself as openly neo-Nazi, white nationalist and white supremacist. The group, started by Robert Rundo, is only believed to have between 20 and 50 members. 4 of its members were arrested last year for violating the federal rioting statute during a Unite the White rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. It is unclear whether Butts is affiliated with the group. A statement from the Colorado River Sheriff's Office said, on May the 22nd, 2019, Butts was seen on surveillance camera driving his company vehicle and spray painting the side of a BLM restroom facility near Parker Dam Road. Butts was positively identified as a suspect during the investigation. Estimated damages for defacing the property is estimated at over $5,000. Butts was arrested and booked into the Colorado River Station Jail on felony vandalism charges. His bail amount is set at $25,000.
Wow, it's kind of a hefty hefty bail for.
Yeah, I think you've done a fair bit of damage. A year-long investigation. What do you think
Well,
to his
that's
artwork? Anyone like his artwork?
Seems well done.
Does it?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a big graffiti fan, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, me neither, Lewis. But yeah, I take your point. It does look like he's fairly accomplished with the spray.
Yeah, several cans were used. Yeah.
Several cans. Every now and then in my town, a train will go through, and like half the cars will have profanities and other things spray painted on them.
Right.
Unfortunate. I think what we're seeing is the Venn diagram of the circles of crazy and flat Earth, which always overlap to some degree, increasingly overlap with time as they shrink.
Right.
So, all of these stories about flat Earthers are also stories about really, really crazy people. So.
Yes, and seemingly about sort of...
They're the most artistic.
Right-wing views seem to really be, well, not, that's wrong. Twit will be lynching me now for saying that. These sort of more extreme right-wing views seem to be...
It's funny that you would say that she would lynch you considering her political bent, which is the same as mine, but I don't know.
I wouldn't use lynch in that context.
But I would say that her politically she's right of centre, and I just used the term right wing, and I think that was.
But you're talking
that was
about
a bit derogatory to people who are just right of centre. You know what I mean? When I meant extreme.
Alt-right is an extreme thing. It's not right wing.
But flat Earth is an extreme position. Yeah. So if you can get attention doing that, well, you can take other extreme positions too and get attention as well. Like it's that sort of thing, I think.
So, Chemo, extreme right winger.
No, for me, media propaganda. It's about association, and what we're seeing now again is another attack on flat Earth. First, it was ridicule, which we saw didn't work. Now we're just seeing association tactics, which means if we have a flat earther doing something incredibly stupid or insane, you don't want to be associated with that flat earth or flat earth in general. Because flat earth is growing, and that's what we're seeing. So, for me, they have to try.
Why are you always going on Nathan's show then?
For me, they have to try all sorts to stop people being attracted to flat Earth. It's very attractive right now, and if you make the association bad, people will think, they'll think twice about associating with flat Earth. So for me, it's nothing more than media propaganda.
So you're suggesting this wasn't really a flat earther, that it's some sort of propaganda? Someone's going out there pretending to be a crazy flat earther and going to jail for it in order to discredit flat earthers?
Yeah, for me, like I say, this is
I really think that.
For me, this is a tactic.
Someone's actually going to do jail time just to make flat earthers look bad, is what you're saying.
Well, for me, this obviously
that's crazy.
Okay. I just wanted to nail that down because that sounded like what you were saying, and you're saying that yes, that is what you're saying. So,
well, for me, when you look at the way flat Earth is moving, if you're a ball earther, you have to do something about this. And ridicule doesn't seem to be working. You've tried your best to mock the life out of flat earthers with very little success, and now obviously making flat Earth look unattractive. You see, by having.
Do you not think flat Earth's already become really extreme, and it's sort of because you see some of the things they say to us pretty extreme, how we should all be exterminated or killed, and then it's just like more of a mean place. I've noticed flat Earth anyway. People are just.
I think that's
insane.
absolutely true, and I wonder what do you think to that, Chemo? Has it got more vicious over the years?
For the opposition, yes. Not. I mean, inside, it's healthy. It's a healthy standing of trying to find out the truth. So,
all right. Let me rephrase the question before you go any further. Within our community, within the YouTube flat Earth community, has it got more nasty?
Well, like I just said, yes. The opposition on both sides have got more nasty and more aggressive. Absolutely, yeah. It's undeniable, right?
I think.
Go ahead, Liz.
as people start to get accused of being transgender and agents of literally agents of Satan, I think it's reasonable to become more aggressive with flat earthers.
We haven't heard from Curved yet, or
No.
much from Kosho.
Co's never aggressive with flat earthers.
Oh, never.
Any of you guys awake? Oh, here's Curved.
Taking it all in.
Good. Fair enough. So,
But I mean,
go ahead, Lewis. Go ahead. Sorry.
We just had the Patty tranny thing. Like, that just happened. That wasn't even between a Globie and a flat earther. It was just a couple of flat earthers. So
Yeah, horrible. I mean, with Spurs saying this sort of thing is going to put people off the flat Earth, I think the way the flat earthers behave in general, some of the circles you're in, Spurs, already behave just as bad as that. Comments you see in the side chat already very anti-Semitic. Loads of the flat earthers really anti-Semitic.
That's true. That is true. I mean,
So that's-
Eric Dubay led the charge on that, didn't he? I mean, let's face
Right.
it. Love letters to Hitler, and
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's my story. I remember when I was a fatty and I was falling asleep listening to a video. Got woken up by this literally metal "Hitler's good" and all this. It was a terrible song, but it was. Who's this guy? And that puts people off, Spurs. I'm telling you, it's not. It's not a conspiracy. It's just like the end result of people going mad, and just falling down these rabbit holes and just getting angry.
All right, well, let's move on to our final clip. And we should remember that it's not just flatties who can end up in court for behaving badly. But we can also remember that justice doesn't always require a court. Sometimes a lake will do just as well.
Hey gentlemen, are you from Detroit? We're originally from Michigan. We live in Des Moines now. Okay, right on. I have a DVD here. It actually talks about the most controversial subjects on the internet. Okay. Flat Earth. Yeah. The Earth, it just shows some alternative viewpoint about the Earth not being a spinning ball in outer space. So
It is. We have pictures.
you have fake doctored pictures.
Yeah, no.
And it's never been measured that it's spinning.
You can see it.
From where?
You can use the pendulum that moves around because the
Last minute of play in the first period. 1 minute.
does this.
Fulks pendulum? Yeah. So you have to start
Come on,
that.
boys.
You have to start the pendulum to move, sir. Gravity's a theory, sir. That's buoyancy and density, sir. Have you ever been to the edge of space? Do you know what the equation is to prove that we live on a ball? It just weighs more than the air around it, sir. That doesn't make any sense, sir.
If you have something that faces straight down,
let him watch the hockey game, man.
And then it moves. But
Yeah, I did.
doesn't move.
I did pay for a ticket. We don't live on a spinning ball, okay, ma'am? Hey, that's cool, man. I am grown up. That's why I'm here. You should grow up. You're wearing somebody else's name on your shirt. So, all right, guys. Well, have a good afternoon. Have a good, safe trip home.
Hey, we will.
All right.
You too.
And Santa Claus isn't real, okay?
If you say that one more fucking time, I will fucking deck you. Do you understand me?
You're on camera, sir. Lie to your kids some more. And Cook allegedly went around this, and it's about 60,000 miles in circumference, and it took him about 3.5 to 4 years to do so.
Another case of the
And they
two circles in the Venn
discredited him
diagram
by
becoming
saying
one.
that he
I mean,
got
that guy's
lost
not
in
well. He
some
never has been.
Pacific
There's a bit
Ocean.
more yet, Quote.
You
Hey,
are
what's up, bud?
a moron.
I'm a what?
A moron.
Okay, thanks, man.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
And
You're
that's
welcome.
that's
for the compliment
Yeah.
because being called a moron by an idiot is a compliment.
So are you calling me an idiot?
I would never do that.
Well, right. So being called a moron by an idiot is a compliment. Well,
Did you?
It's good to get compliments.
Could I ask you a question? Did you see my sign here?
I did, yes.
What did my sign say here?
Something about facts.
Yeah. Does free speech require facts?
No.
No, you're.
Okay. So why are you calling me a moron? Am I not allowed to?
Oh, what do you know?
You gotta laugh.
That is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
He runs like a little girl as well. You know?
He's an old guy. He's tall, skinny, old fucker.
Old,
but
he's not that. He's not old.
Oh, he
Maybe
was
to
in his
Lewis.
50s, 60s. Okay, he's old.
Artistic intent there? No, he's in his 30s.
He's on about the old guy that robbed the phone.
Oh. Oh dear. But he did deserve it because I would have hit when he said that to that kid. That was a shocker.
Really
I know he's done
was,
that before, but
Yep, I would have hit that guy. I would have ended it so much longer before that.
Sooner, yeah.
Yeah, he just wouldn't leave them alone, and I guess in the first clip it's near the end of the game, so well, I mean towards the end of it, it was near the end of the game, so I guess the guy just thought, well, we're going to be going in a minute, and we can get away from the crazy guy. But it was good to see him get his comeuppance. But of course, straight away, it's a GoFundMe for a new phone. So yeah.
Lori Gale says it's a fake, all set up. You know, I can see that. It's a great way for them to be able to get new equipment. They just make it look like someone came in and vandalized their shit, and then they can set up a GoFundMe.
On the other hand, maybe somebody vandalized his shit.
That's true. I think that's also plausible. I probably would. I wouldn't mind doing it. There's a place in this world for people like Antifa.
In that first video, I don't think the guy was actually even talking to the father. I think everything he was saying was for the benefit of the boy that was right next to him.
What Santa Claus?
Realize that makes it much worse, right?
Yeah, that's much worse.
Yep.
And I think in the second video it was the same. The child was there. I think he's speaking. So the child, it goes into the child's mind, and then he.
What gives him the right to tell anything to the children? Like, that's his
Once
children.
again, it makes it much worse.
That's what you guys moan about, is the indoctrination of children. So, why is he doing that?
Yeah,
No, I'm just saying that when he was talking to the father thought he was talking directly to him, but he was saying things, that he wanted the boy to hear.
But why do you think that's all right? Is what I'm saying, Spurs. Why do you think that's okay for him to be speaking to the kid?
The school would never have told him. His father would never have told him, and it's unlikely that boy would have found it online unless.
But it's okay for a guy with a conviction for sex with a minor to tell him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Is that what he has?
He does. Yeah, I'm afraid.
The guy.
Although to probably be fairer to him, it looks like he was duped by some 14-year-old girl who signed herself up for a load of dating sites, and he ended up having a few dates with her, sent her some flowers, and that sent her mum into a bit of a interrogation spin, and he ended up with a conviction.
The flat earther.
Yeah, authentic intent. Yeah.
He told her Santa wasn't real, and then her mum freaked out.
But to be fair to him, I don't think he was aware. I really don't. I think she lied to him. But anyway, I mean, that aside, he shouldn't be. Why do you think it's a good thing that he is? He's able to. Talk to somebody else's child without their consent and tell them something that clearly, in at least the first case, the guy obviously does not agree with that point of view. So why do you think it's a good thing that he's taken free reign on that guy's kid?
If obviously because he's what you've just said, it's kind of different. But in a general situation. The kid's in danger. He's been lied to. So if he can hear information that is true, then it benefits the child, right? That's what you want.
Is he in danger because he doesn't know the shape of the Earth? That's not.
Yes, because obviously it affects his outlook in life, right? And
What about Santa? What about Santa then? Is that endangered?
well, exactly. If you grow up believing in Santa,
Yeah, so you're telling this child Santa's not real, and telling the child that his father is lying to him is doing what exactly that's good? Just to hear you defend and explain that.
that was going a bit far. I mean, just what he was doing initially was stealth, flat.
There's nothing stealthy about it. He was directly and explicitly undermining the authority of his father, of the kid's father, in the eyes of the kid.
Towards the
the entire time it was a direct attack on the respect the kid would have for his father.
If he was that offended the father, then he could have, got up and walked away.
Well, he did, didn't he? But I think that the final quip there was it was basically authentic intent throwing a little tantrum because the guy hadn't taken him seriously and had been a little mocking. Had laughed at him a couple of times.
Well,
that was him just lashing out to get his own back.
Yeah, he did it out of spite. He's a meanie.
Yeah,
He's
it was spite, and he did it, hiding behind his camera.
Right. Well,
the money that the father paid for him and his son to go to that hockey game, for the tickets and all and everything, it's a shame he didn't have the right to sit there and watch the game with his son without being harassed by a fucking lunatic, Chemo.
Yeah, here.
Right.
Yeah.
And Curved, at being the sports fan amongst us, would I guess this is an issue that would be dear to your heart, Curved.
There would have
But
been blood.
again, this is the problem, isn't it? Again, not the flat earther, just in general. The flat earther would see that situation. Flat Earth is more important than him. Being hypnotized by a game and things like that.
Really?
Yeah, because for bored earthers, this is normal. You're on a board sports game, but if the Earth is flat, which it is, then that's alarming, right?
I often think the flat Earth would be a very miserable place, wouldn't it? I mean, sports isn't allowed. That's kind of frowned upon, and pop stars, they're sort of frowned upon. TV and movies, they're absolutely out of the question. Fundamentalist religion, that's okay. That's very popular. I have a vision of the flat Earth world, Chemo, and it's a bit like The Handmaid's Tale.
Well, again, if a child is in danger, anybody's child, you're saying somebody shouldn't make a call on whether somebody, a child or anybody, is in danger. I mean, what are you saying here? I mean, just because you believe the Earth to be a ball, you don't see the danger. You think, well, there's nothing to worry about.
What about, say, if there was a very sort of, atheist government that then decided that children should no longer be taught Christianity, then, and decided that, in order to protect those children from danger, they should be removed from the bad influence of their religious parents.
Right. So, for example, if they decided to stop teaching,
right?
Well, yeah. If that happened and you knew that God existed, you would see everybody else in danger, right?
Yes, I think you're right. I think Muslims should kill Christians in order to make sure they don't continue to fall into sin.
Right. Yep. You might feel that you know that God exists, but you would also know that you live in a world where people have different religious views, and you would then take a view on whether you were tolerant of that or not. But I'm positing to you a situation where people are completely intolerant of a specific religious view, and you don't seem to mind that idea too much.
But again, you're equating. This is not religion, is it? This is something different. This is something we know to be true. Yes, and if we know something to be true, and children are being lied to, well, it's weird that you're saying that we shouldn't tell them Of course, we should tell them
But
immediately.
the situation for you, if we're not talking about religion and we're talking about flat Earth, is even worse, isn't it? Because the balance is tipped even more against you than if you hold some. If you're a Christian, well, 2 billion other people share that view, roughly speaking.
It's not religion, is
Whereas
it?
if you're a flat earther, there's probably not 2,000 other people who share that view, and 7 billion who don't. So, you should be registering that and thinking, well, hold on a minute, those people are at least entitled to their view and to pass it on to their children, at least to the point where the children are adults, and then if we want to change the view of the population, we'll start when they're adults. That
What
seems
with
fair.
flat Earth religion?
I think it's.
I'm talking strictly flat Earth.
I
not
think it's
religion.
an ideology which possesses people.
Flat Earth. You think is an ideology?
Yes, I think
Absolutely.
it's. Quartus describes it the best, I think, as ideological possession. I think that's
How
what
can it
flat
be an
Earth is.
idea how is that possible? How do you mean? What do you mean it's an idea?
Do you want me to? I'll
I
do
have
this.
no idea how it's possible.
Well, I'll do this if you want. I'll tell you why I think it's an ideology. Because I think that people don't believe it because there's stuff in reality that tells them that it's true. They believe it because it gives them an emotional payoff. There are slight differences in the emotional payoff for different characters in the meme, but essentially that is why people believe it. For most, it's so that they can believe that they've got they're a rebel freedom fighter sticking it to the man with their special insight and access to secret knowledge. I think people like the idea of believing that. For others, as I've said before, I'll get through this now, I'm afraid, mate, you did ask me. For others, it's a way of reasserting control over a life that they feel that they've lost control of. But if they've suffered some sort of something emotionally traumatic, like the death of a loved one or the end of a love relationship, it leaves a person feeling like they've lost control where they once had it, and people reassert that control by assuming a belief that allows them the idea that they've got the inside track where everyone else is asleep. They know what's really going on, and that gives them a feeling of control. And then finally, I think there's a group of people that enjoy the adulation that they get by confidently professing what they consider to be wisdom, and they have an audience that lap it up in the same way that a congregation might lap up what a preacher has to say on a Sunday morning. Thank you.
Well, you overcomplicate.
They smoke a lot of weed as well. Too much.
Sorry, that did go on a bit. I do apologise.
You overcomplicate things. You see, what you said was, we think we have some secret knowledge, like we know something like you don't know. But that's the thing. You know the same thing that we know. You can do what we can do. It's not like yous are doing something different to what we're doing.
But we're all asleep. We don't know about the big lie. We're not aware. We just watch ice hockey games.
It's not secret knowledge, is it? This is self-evident. It's not. There is no secret. Again, what's secret about what we're saying? We're saying things that
everyone's being lied to.
No, but what we're saying is clear and evident.
If it was clear and evident, Spurs, you would be winning the argument by now. It's not going so well after years.
So again, there's no secret to the knowledge that we have about the shape of the Earth. Water does what it does, as we understand.
Sure, there is. There's a global conspiracy keeping you down.
No, there's no. Well, you can look at it that way, but again, it's not.
This is how you look at it.
Well, it depends how you look at it, isn't it? Because I liked how you described it.
Depends how you look at it.
And that you also look at it that we're all asleep and we don't know. All we need to do is just research it, and then we'll see it all.
Not really. not really, because
the difference between the woke and the sleeping. That's exactly where I grew up for paradigm.
Right.
It depends how you look at it. Some people think that you guys know it's not a ball. Some people think that you guys, on the fence. Like, they have different ideas. So again, it depends how you look at it. So not everybody thinks that, we think it's flat and you think it's a ball. Some people think, well, these people know it can't be a ball through, demonstrations, measurements, observations, things like that. So again, it depends on that. So there's no secret knowledge.
In that situation, the secret knowledge is that we know the truth, but we're lying, and so you have the inside scoop on our motivations there.
Yes, but there is no secret knowledge here. All that knowledge
is that we're lying, and you're telling
all we're facing
we're
here.
lying.
All we're facing is the question: is you guys don't know why they lied. That's the secret that we don't have the answer.
Oh, okay. So there is a secret. Like, what are you even saying then?
That's the point. The secret knowledge, we don't have that. That secret knowledge that you're claiming that we have. Well, why they lied? Who knows? It's anyone's guess. But what we know is what is self-evident. What is
they are lying. The secret knowledge is that they are.
Yes, but why are they lying?
Going nowhere.
Yeah, but
It's going nowhere. You're right.
Okay. Well, yeah.
But I do thank you for your opinion, Chemo, because it is good to hear and just have a different take on it.
Okay.
I know No Quartus really, really enjoys hearing it. All right. Well, has anyone got anything else? We'll round it up if you haven't. No. Okay. Do you want to say anything else, Chemo? I'll let you have the last word.
No, I'm just interested in what you were saying and why we believe what we believe, and it's very simple. You overcomplicated the answer to it made no sense, because what we see is self-evident. It's clear, and the measurements will tell you whether something's curving or not. And we don't have those measurements to show. So.
Yes, we do.
You guys have secret knowledge because you know about gravity.
All right, you've got to end this.
You're going to trigger Quartus, man.
You can have 2 more sentences. Finish it up.
Well, I was just going to say, it again, for me, with respect, you guys are projecting here because you guys have the secret knowledge. You seem to have the secret numbers, and you guys seem to have secret forces that nobody else seems to be able to.
It's a secret. They teach it in schools. Anyway, thank you very much. Join us again soon for more fabulous flatness. In the meantime, if you see something that you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamped link in the comments section of this video. Or, if you would like to be on the panel, please join my Discord server. The link is in the description, along with channel links for tonight's panel. Our Discord server has over 1,400 members, and we managed to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome members with opposing views, so click the link and join us. Thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel. Thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back around the same time next week. Probably, maybe. So until then, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Have a great evening.
Ciao, ciao.
You're misleading the public. You're lying to people.
We are the heart of a giant studio set all over the stage on your right.
Jesus Christ, can suck my dick? Suck my dick?
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit. Man's getting rude.
Sorry, Jim, I was so terrifically late. I can't tell you the number of things.
We're still running.
It could be an onion, a hairless monkey, something through the vacuum, or a potato.
Yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, it'd be bad. It would be bad.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a flat Earth and things making sense.